Hello and welcome to another episode of Creative Differences, Double D Edition. I'm Dallas, and I'm just so happy after what feels like 35 years, we finally got to see The Rock in some Black Adam footage.
My name's Demi. Welcome to the episode that almost didn't happen. We have a jam-packed episode today, so we're just going to dive right on in and try to avoid any crazy tangents because today, Dallas and I are nerding out over some of the biggest reveals from DC FanDome.
That is true. If you're wondering where Colin is, he went to go be a host somewhere, so he's not here.
He
Sorry
didn't
about
want to
that.
bring down our energy, to be honest.
I maintain Colin's a hoe because he ain't here and he can't say anything otherwise.
Again, welcome to the Creative Differences Podcast, your one-stop shop for movie reviews, Throwback Thursdays, Fancast Fridays, and a number of other pop culture-related items like what we're doing today.
Before we get into all of this lovely, lovely DC content, please like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff because we watched FanDome for like 3.5 to 4 hours, so you didn't have to, and you could just
I
get it from
watched
us.
the entire 4 hours.
Yeah, I watched the whole like, I think I missed one segment because I had to
You
go,
missed the
like,
Flash
grab
segment.
food or something, which sucks because I was that's not one I wanted to miss, but, it was on YouTube.
That's not one to miss.
No, they've been talking about that movie for forever.
We'll get to that later, though. Let's get into it. Starting with Black Adam, which was the first thing that they opened DC FanDome with. You know, we know that they're in post-production. We gotta look at Hawkman, Cyclone, and Atom Smasher's costume symbols and Dr. Fate's helmet. The Rock is saying it's the biggest action sequences that he's ever done. Got a clip of the first scene of the movie, or well, the first time that we see Black Adam in the movie.
Right, which I was already ready because, going back to, I don't know, like, what feels like 2005 or something when they said that The Rock was in this movie. They're like, "Oh, The Rock is cast as Black Adam," and I was like, Are we getting a Shazam movie?" This was so far back, I didn't know what the plan was, and then Shazam came, he wasn't in it, and I was like, "Okay," and
He
now,
was mentioned, though.
boom, we're getting Black Adam. He was mentioned, but man, that scene when he zapped that dude, that was all I needed. I was like, "I'm in. Give me my ticket. I'm ready for it." It looks so dope. The way he catches that bullet, everything looks super dope, and the
It
supporting
does.
cast of characters looks like because I love Doctor Fate. I don't know anything about Cyclone or Atom Smasher, but I like Aldous Hodge. I've never seen Noah Citronella in anything, but I've heard good things about him.
He's good. He's
Yeah.
mostly done, like, rom-coms and, like, I guess you
Yeah.
could say chick flicks,
He
so
does the, like, "To All the Boys, I Still Like You, but Maybe I Love You," or something like that, right?
and he was in Charlie's Angels.
I forgot about that. I didn't see that one either. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's been off my radar, but this will get him there.
Yeah, no, this was, like you said, it's our first look at Black Adam, and first off, we liked Shazam, the movie.
Oh, yeah.
So, like, obviously, Black Adam is, like, a Shazam villain with basically the same powers. So,
Yeah.
you kinda gotta change it up a little bit so it doesn't feel like we're just watching another Shazam movie, and the
Mhm.
way he uses his powers is so brutal in comparison to what we've seen so far.
Yeah, I saw that clip and I was thinking, "Oh, man, Shazam is about to get dog walks for 2 hours." Like,
Seriously, man, and, like, I know he's not gonna keep the cloak, but, like,
yeah,
I'd like him to
alright.
keep the cloak.
It looks super dope. And fortunately, he has the whole Shazam family now because they're gonna have to jump him. Like, they're gonna have to jump this dude.
Drive
All
by.
at the same time. Exactly. Stomp him out. Do whatever you gotta do because he is about to make it a tough time.
Well, I would say that this is also a good opportunity. I'm not saying that it'll happen in this film, it will not, but it's a good opportunity to find a way to bring Henry Cavill's Superman back because Superman does typically help Shazam take down Black Adam. So
Yeah.
it's a good way of bringing him in, and Henry's manager or agent is The Rock's business partner in producing films. Danny
Is it
Garcia.
Danny Garcia? Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
She has said that Henry is still interested in playing Superman. Now, mind you, this was a few years ago,
Right.
but they have the connection to bring Henry back if they wanted to. And I think that this is a good opportunity to do it. And like I said, not necessarily this film, but it does open up that door.
Yeah. And I think they definitely should just for Shazam's sake, because boy, he gonna need some help.
Also, I think Henry deserves another chance at playing Superman and getting to play him properly.
Yeah, I think now that we've gotten away from
Now that DC is finding its
yeah,
stride,
Yeah, this is what I don't know how to say this, nicely, but that we're in a place where it seems like they're willing to open up and do more than just the gray, somber stuff they were doing when they started out. Like, this is a good time to bring Superman back into the fold. Like, now we've had Shazam, now we have The Flash, which I'm sure is gonna have a little levity to it, even though it's about some dark stuff. We'll get to that later. But, yeah, I think now we're not too tied to the grayed out sadness that Man of Steel was.
And also Henry's name has just gotten bigger since then. So
That's true. He's Sherlock Holmes now.
go for it. Also, I've seen a couple of other people point this out, but in the Black Adam sneak peek, like that first shot of him when he's revealed and he's like crouched down on the floor, giving
Mhm.
some real hard Terminator vibes from like
Oh.
when you first get introduced to the Terminator, which is such a great way of like it's such a good film, like, parallel if that was purposeful, and it feels like it probably was, because of the vibes that Terminator gives off. Like, Terminator is the bad guy in the first movie.
Yeah.
You know, he's a villain, and that's who The Rock is supposed to be playing a not so good guy for once.
Yeah.
So, it'll be interesting to see what The Rock does with the character, especially because I don't think we've ever seen him play, like, a straight up villain before. I mean, except, like, the Scorpion King, but that doesn't count.
He's been in so many things, it's hard to even but he's just so charismatic. He's not the guy you want to be the bad guy because
Yeah.
you wanna root for him. He's The Rock. Yeah, it was dope. I was glad to see him at FanDome, in the FanDome, whatever the thing is called. Even though it was funny because he said that he was born to play Black Adam, and I'm still part of me is always gonna be disappointed that he's not playing Lobo because there's no one better for Lobo than
Except
Dwayne
Jason
Johnson.
Momoa?
Right, and he's already Aquaman, so it's like the 2 perfect people for Lobo are already in the DC universe playing other characters. Oh, well. Speaking of Jason Momoa,
Yeah, next up, Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom.
yes.
No footage from that, obviously, because I think they're still in production, like, they're, like,
Yeah, it
in the
looked like they
middle
were
of production.
still making the movie.
Yeah, but we got behind the scenes stuff for it.
You did like Aquaman, right?
I did like
So, yes,
Aquaman.
you should take the lead on this one.
I'm super excited. Momoa said that it's gonna tackle environmental issues and that he
Mhm.
it sounded like he was involved in, like, some of the story development for this one, which is cool. I like the idea of using Aquaman as, like, a vessel for giving that sort of message, especially because Jason
Yeah,
Momoa in real life is really about, like, environmental protection. It really is, like, such a perfect meeting of character and actor.
that's
James
cool.
Wan said it's gonna be more mature, but just as fun, which I'm excited about because I liked the first one, but I definitely can see where it can, you know, be a little bit more mature in its storytelling, maybe.
Yeah, I can see that.
And I love that James Wan also mentioned that Aquaman, like these movies aren't afraid to embrace like the fantasy of this world.
Right.
That's exciting for me because that was like actually one of the things that I loved most about the first one was that it really was like we're taking you to a whole different world that you've never seen before. And I think they really pulled that off. And also there's gonna be more globetrotting in this movie. And the globetrotting was my favorite part of the first movie. I loved that it had sort of like an Indiana Jones feel, like adventure feel whenever they were on land. So I'm hoping that that also transitions into like the more ocean-like scenes in the
Yeah.
second movie. But also, Yaya training
Yeah.
as Black Manta. Oh boy, y'all gonna run hands in this movie.
I'm excited because I didn't really care for Black Manta's portrayal in the first one. Not that I think they did it badly, it was just not what I wanted for the character. It's kinda like,
There wasn't
okay,
enough
he's
of him.
here, but yeah, he's here, but he's not really a main factor. But Yaya's great. James Wan, I'm a big fan of his work as well. I don't know. I didn't really care for the first movie, but yeah, I might check this one out just off the strength of James Wan and Yaya alone. And, I like Black Manta.
It might be better.
He very well might. I might very much enjoy it. Holding out hope that there's a Calderon reference because Black Manta's in this movie again, and that's something I don't wanna miss. So I might just see it and hope cross my fingers and hope the Calderon pops up somewhere.
It's really crazy because I think Yaya's name has also become a lot bigger
Oh, definitely.
since the first one released about it's been a 4-year gap actually by the time the second movie comes out, and by that point, The Matrix will have come out, he's been in Watchmen, he did Candyman, like, his name is just so much
Yeah.
bigger since then, so it'll be really awesome.
Yeah, I don't know if he had really led anything back then. He was in,
No,
like, the Get Down, but he wasn't the lead.
no, and
And
I think that was
then
before Watchmen came out.
right, yeah, so he's way bigger now than he was. That was a good catch for them.
But yeah, it looks like the whole cast is back. Even Patrick Wilson is back as Orm. So there's some
Yes.
footage of him in there. Randall Park is coming back. That wasn't talked about at FanDome, but Randall Park is
Oh,
coming
good.
back.
I love Randall Park and everything he's in. I was surprised that he was in the first one. Is that Randall Park? But yeah, I'm super glad that he's gonna come back for whatever capacity he's in. I'm not a big fan of Orm as a character, but I do like Patrick Wilson, so that can balance out. I just
Yeah,
hope we get more focus on Manta this time.
I think we will. I think we'll have more
Yeah.
focus on Manta, and it looks like it's one of those things where Orm, he's been in prison, and they'll probably be pulling him out of prison to help them with something.
Okay.
Probably to find this lost kingdom that they're looking for, obviously.
I can see that. He could play like a let's see, kinda like Zahir in Legend of Korra after everything
Ooh.
went down with him, and he was
Yeah,
kinda like, "Hey, you know what? This is what you gotta do, because Kuvir's gonna mollywop you."
exactly.
And I could see that.
Also, the suits. Suits are looking good.
Oh, yeah. We got a new Manta suit. He has a nice shiny new helmet.
Aquaman's stealth suit looks dope,
Mhm. Yeah,
so
yeah. We'll see.
I'm hyped for that. I hope that his main suit is still pretty comic accurate though, because that was one of the things I really loved about the first movie was how, like, unafraid they were to be comic accurate with these suits because Black Manta's
Yeah.
suit is ridiculous, Orm's suit is ridiculous, even Aquaman's suit is
Oh,
kinda
yeah.
ridiculous, but you see them on screen and somehow it does not feel as ridiculous. It still works somehow.
They went for it, and I'm glad they did. I'm always glad when someone goes for, like, "Hey, this is what we're adapting. We're gonna try to make it work." Sometimes it doesn't work, sometimes it does.
Yeah, and I feel like Black Manta's suit definitely, like, worked, and I think the new one works even more.
I think the new one definitely works more. The last one, it was cool, only thing was, like, almost had, like, bobblehead vibes because the helmet was so big,
I
and
think
I
they
feel
made
like
it
that's not
smaller this time
something.
around,
Yeah, it looks like that's not something we have to deal with this time.
but it still looks abnormally large.
Oh, yeah, can't go too normal.
But next up, we have Milestone Media, mainly because me and Dallas like talking about Milestone Media.
I was so excited when they showed up. I was like, "Oh my god, Milestone's here." But in the grand scheme of DC FanDome, it's probably a really minor thing for most people.
Yeah, there wasn't a lot of news that was given.
For those who don't know, Milestone Media is, I don't know, like an imprint. They gave us Static, Icon, I think Rocket as well. A lot of the black DC heroes that came up around the 90s because, everybody was white. They wanted to change that. The late, great Dwayne McDuffie and Dennis Cowan, who was at FanDome, and then Reggie Hudlin. I don't know when Reggie Hudlin got involved or if he's a founder or not, but I know he's pretty tied to them now.
Yeah, and he was there, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was there with Dennis Cowan. But yeah, they announced an animated movie.
Woo!
It sounds like various Milestone characters. Like I think it's like over the whole Milestone roster.
That's pretty cool.
It sounds so dope. Like I love Static, Icon, Rocket. I don't know a lot about Hardware or like some of the other ones that they have.
Oh, yeah, they mentioned Hardware a lot, and I was like, "I've never heard of this guy before. Who is Hardware?"
Yeah, I was like, Hardware. Okay, I've heard of Hardware, but I don't know Hardware very well.
Yeah. Also, they gave us more insight that the Static movie is in the works, Michael B. Jordan
True. I'm
producing
waiting for it.
everything. It's gonna be fire, man.
It's gonna be so dope. Have they said if that's gonna be HBO Max or theaters?
I thought they said that it was HBO Max.
They probably did. I'm sure that's one of the things that we put on our list of. Of course, this is going to HBO Max.
We're gonna talk
But
about that later too.
but yeah, I am very excited. But also for the animated movie, it's just as someone who's always liked DC's animated stuff more than their live action, the fact that I'm getting a live action Static movie and an animated Milestone movie, just like I love it.
Yeah.
Best of both worlds.
They also announced that there are more comics coming soon, including a compendium of their old comics.
Yeah.
So if you ever wanna catch up on, like, the real old Milestone stuff, there's gonna be, like, a whole book of them, which is gonna be insane. And also they announced that there's gonna be a program with DC called the Milestone Initiative, which is gonna bring forth the
Yeah.
next generation of Black comic book writers, artists, etcetera, in the industry, which I think is really cool.
That sounds awesome. I got really excited about that because as they said, they gave the numbers, and I don't remember the exact numbers, but it was something like I think
Yeah,
5%
it was like
of comic
5% or
writers
something.
are black, and then I think like 2 to 3% of artists. It's really cool to not only have something like this initiative where you can bring in more diverse artists, but to announce it on FanDome that has such a huge audience.
Yeah.
So the people who like DC the most, like the people who would probably want to do something like this, are watching it happen and watching it be announced.
It's the same reason I like the fact that they do, like, the fan art during FanDome and show them
Yeah,
off, and
that's
they have,
awesome.
like, Jim Lee, like, look at them and, like, announce, like, winners of, like, the fan art and stuff like that. Like, I think that's really cool.
Yeah, that's super dope. But yeah, I was looking, I was like, oh snap, milestone initiative. Let me get on that. I don't have a portfolio because I've never written or done anything with a comic before. But if I can slip through those cracks, I will.
Listen, you can always learn,
Oh yeah,
and I'm sure
I
it
know
won't
how to
just be
write.
a one-year thing.
Yeah, shoot my shot. Also, to clarify, the founders of Milestone Media are Dwayne McDuffie, Dennis Cowan, Michael Davis, and Derek T. Dingle. And Dennis Cowan was
Nice.
there at FanDome with Reggie Hudlin. Milestone Media, always love it. Always love when they get their shine. Power to the people, as always.
Yeah, DC's been giving them a lot of shine, for the last 2 fandoms, or, I mean, there's only been 2 fandoms, but, you know.
As they should. Also, Blood Syndicate was the other one that they were talking about a lot. And I don't know
Yes.
what that is. It sounds gangsta as hell, but I've never heard of it.
See, I've heard of Blood Syndicate. I think they said that they're gonna start a new run of comics for Blood Syndicate.
Right, right, right. Dope.
Alright, next up, video games. This is the one thing I wish Colin was kinda here for, but also, I don't know. I don't know if he'd even be interested, but we've got the Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, and we've got Gotham Knights.
Yes. It's funny because, Colin is our gamer guy, but he's not into action or fighting or shooting, all the things that these games look like they mostly consist of.
Yes,
But forget that hoe because I want to buy both of these games.
I'm
These
so
games look
excited.
fire.
Both of them released story trailers, which
Yeah.
were interesting and both of very different tones.
Yeah. I'm excited for both. And I feel like I'm happy that we're getting a little bit of everything because seeing them one after the other, it was like, okay, we got the funny and then we got the this looks creepy as hell.
I'm very certain that Gotham Knights is going to stress me out.
Oh yeah. The Court of Owls is inherently creepy. I was telling you off mic in the chat about the movie Batman versus Robin, the animated movie.
Yeah.
It's one where Damian Wayne. Have you seen that one?
No, I haven't.
Okay, yeah, Damian Wayne, he starts kind of getting recruited by this guy Talon. He's part of the Court of Owls because he's like, "Yo, Damian, you're good at what you do. Just kill these guys. Don't let your dad tell you to be soft out here in these streets."
Not my
Like,
boy Damien.
and Damien he comes from that. He's from
He's
the
from the
streets of
league.
the League of Assassins. Yeah, so he's like, "Yeah, I'm ready to drop bodies out here." But he's been spending time with Bruce. This is, I think, the second or third animated movie with Damian Wayne in it. So he's like, dude, I'm cutting back on that. I'm not really killing right now. And then Talon is like, nah, bro. Let me show you the ropes. So there's a rift between Damian and Batman, and it's super dope. They show how creepy the Court of Owls is and how much influence they have. All the eyes wide shut vibes that we got from this game are in that movie. I'm here for it. I'm ready for
Yeah.
it.
The graphics look so good on both.
Oh, definitely. But like the way those things are moving, like the owl people, because they have
Yeah.
some like I don't know what
I
those are, but those
I
look
think they're called Talons.
okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Because in the movie, Talon is like a dude. He's like, I don't know the mythos of the
I
Court
think
of
in
Owls.
the comics, the Talons are like their little hench zombie people.
Yeah, those look horrifying.
Yeah, I can't wait to try because I think both games have a multiplayer mode.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, I think last year they said that they have multiplayer modes in like story mode, but with multiple players playing, I think.
Oh, that's awesome.
Which
They should. I mean, they all have teams, so
yeah, I think they have
you would think
co-op
they would.
modes.
That sounds fantastic. We got to get on that.
I would love to play that because I think me and you would have a good time playing that together.
Oh, definitely.
Both of them actually.
Yeah, it's
We
funny
would
because
kill.
I can go from Deadshot to Red Hood in the other game and just be clapping people the whole time.
I'll go from, probably Harley to I actually don't know which of the Robins or which Bat or if Batgirl is who I would wanna play, actually. I think I'd wanna try all of the Robins and Batgirl. I think I'm most excited about this game because it's not a Batman game, but it's still a Gotham game, which is, like, super exciting to me.
Yeah, it sounds really dope. And part of my phrasing, but you are into Dick, right? Like Nightwing.
Dick Grayson, yes, I do love Dick
Yes.
Grayson.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
That's a way to phrase it.
You know, you love Dick.
Yeah. I think Gotham Knights interests me more than Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, although I am curious as to how you want the Suicide Squad to kill the Justice League, but Gotham Knights, man, just it's pulling me in with the mystery, I think.
Yeah. I'm super into both. And I remember when they first got announced, Were they announced at last FanDome?
Yep, last FanDome.
Okay, yeah, I remember being hyped about both, and I'm still hyped about both. I don't know which one I like more. I think Suicide Squad is maybe edging it a bit because I love me some Tara Strong, as you know, and she's
Yep,
back as Harley. Because I think this one is a continuation from the Arkham games, like it's in that same universe or something. That's what I
maybe.
heard. I don't know. I think that's what I read,
I don't
but the
know.
internet is full of liars. But yeah, I love Tara Strong. Her performance looks great. Like there's one when that guy gets his head blown off in
Yeah.
front of Amanda Waller, and then Harley leans over to King Shark. She's like, I don't think he's gonna make it. It just looks so much fun. I'm so ready.
I was super happy when I was watching that trailer because Waller is being played by an actress from Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. Her name is Deborah Wilson, and I just, like,
Yeah.
immediately recognized her face as her character, which is
Yeah, they made
crazy
her
that
look
video games
exactly
do
like
that.
her. It was so
Yeah, I was
crazy.
just
I
like,
looked up the voice
"I know
cast and I was
her."
like, "Oh, that's her."
Yeah, that's her, like, as if she was acting in a movie. It's crazy, man. It's so crazy that video games can do that now. There was something that they were saying about Gotham Knights about really being able to personalize each character and how you use them and like their weaponry and stuff like that
Mhm.
based on how often you play them and your gameplay like preference, I guess you could say. I can't remember specifically what they said, but you guys can probably find the video on YouTube where they were talking about the behind the scenes of the game. But that also really excited me. So yeah, I'm looking forward to both of those games. My PS5 is ready.
Yes, I will be scouring the streets for a PS5 because by that point, you might just have to find them like drugs
That's what's
out in the
happening
hood
now. What
somewhere.
are you talking about?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it's gonna get worse or better.
You probably just have to come to my house and we'll just play together.
That too. But before like, until then, it's gonna be like Mad Max with water. Just be chasing people in the streets for PS5s.
Hilarious.
I'm ready
All
for it.
right, next up on our list is Peacemaker.
Yes, yes, yes. Peacemaker. Everything I see about Peacemaker looks so ridiculous and makes me wanna watch it even more.
Yeah, I was really I think on Twitter I said that it feels like Peacemaker and Doom Patrol are gonna be fighting for which of them is the craziest DC show, but, like, in 2 very different ways.
Yeah, I feel like Peacemaker is gonna be that James Gunn Unleashed kinda crazy, and Doom
Yeah.
Patrol is going to be that anything in these weird ass comic books, we're gonna put on TV. So good luck because there's nothing.
Buckle up,
I'm
guys.
convinced that there's nothing Doom Patrol won't do. And I've only seen the first season, and this is just going off of that season.
Oh,
They did some
buddy.
insane things in that show.
Wait until you catch up.
Yeah, I'm sure it got crazier.
On top of having a teaser for Peacemaker, there was also a panel with the cast and crew. We found out Freddie Stroma is playing Vigilante. Danielle Brooks is playing a new character created by James Gunn named Adebayo, who's just been thrown into this new world and seems to be the only person who likes Peacemaker.
Somebody has to.
Yeah. Steve Agee says that he's never seen James Gunn so giddy on a set. And I think he quoted James Gunn one night as saying, I can't believe they're letting me shoot this. To which
Exactly.
James Gunn said, "Yeah, WB decided to bury themselves by letting me shoot that scene that night." So we'll see
Oh
what
boy.
that is.
I'm worried, but also kind of excited.
Yeah, exactly. Like, if you like James Gunn, I feel like you're gonna like this show. Me and you both like James Gunn and his work.
Yeah.
We both acknowledge how crazy it is and just kinda dive headfirst into whatever insanity he's planning on giving.
Yeah, I'm ready for it. I have a question.
Yeah.
They keep showing a guy in what looks like TDK's outfit from the Suicide Squad. It's like a green. He's wearing the outfit that Nathan Fillion wears in the movie.
Yeah, I think that's Vigilante that you're talking about.
No, 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 different. Sorry, Vigilante is the one who's hanging out with Peacemaker, but there's a guy that they're fighting in a couple different scenes, and he's dressed
Oh,
exactly like TDK. And I'm wondering, is that Nathan Fillion, or is it just someone dressed like him, or did they recast that character?
I have no idea.
Because like, looking at the outfit, I'm like, "Okay, that's definitely the same outfit," but did they bring back Nathan Fillion and not tell anybody and not give him any lines in the trailer?
I have no idea, to be
Yeah.
honest.
You never know what to expect.
Watching that trailer, Vigilante was giving me, like, heavy Deadpool vibes.
Yeah, I'm like, "He's gonna be a mess, but I can't wait for it."
I was like,
Ah,
he reminds me of Deadpool, the way that he's behaving and the things that
mhm,
he says, and he
right.
feels very Deadpool-like. Sorry, DC fans, for bringing Marvel into this, but that is how it felt.
Yeah, we all gotta get along, guys.
Yeah, especially listen, me and Dallas like both. We have no issues with either side. Well, I mean, we probably have issues, but, like, we are fans of both. We're not here to pin
Yeah,
one against the other.
that's true. I've gotten joy from DC, I've gotten joy from Marvel. Over the years, I've loved both. I'm here for both. If Marvel
We're
had a fandom,
Switzerland here.
we'd do that too, but they don't.
No, they've got D23, which we have done.
True.
Yeah, what am I most looking forward to with this show, though? I think with Peacemaker, they like Robert. I think the actor's name is Robert Patrick, who is playing his father, and he's like a really good
Mm.
actor. And I'm
Yeah.
super excited to see that relationship because that's definitely why Peacemaker is as messed up as he is. It's gotta be.
Oh, you can tell from that one interaction they have at the table. I'm like, "Oh, that's why. That's why you're like that."
It's like this is why you're. And I'm fascinated as to how James Gunn is going to pull this off because in the Suicide Squad, the way that it ends with that character, like you can't like him at the end of that movie.
Right.
And this takes place after that, so it'll be interesting to see, like, are you going to make him likable? If you're I feel like maybe the way you make him likable is by giving us, like, this, sympathetic side of him by showing us why he is the way that he is, and also by having characters around him who call him out on his crap, which Danielle Brooks seems to be doing,
Yeah,
but also the show looks hilarious.
it does. I'm ready for it. Speaking of, Robert Patrick, I forgot he's the T-1000
Speaking of
in
Terminator,
Terminator 2. Right. So I guess there's gonna be some Terminator references in here that we did
that would
not
be
expect.
hilarious.
But
Also,
yeah.
the eagle hugging him at the end of the trailer,
Ah, that was so sweet. He's like, "Dad, get my
and
phone. I
also
don't wanna
how
move."
hysterical.
I love
They
John
also
Cena.
said that John Cena that dance of him in his underwear is, like,
Mhm.
4 minutes or something like that.
Goodness. He's such a large man. It's like seeing that scene unsettles me 'cause it's like, why is there so much of you?
But he's also fighting in it, which is what's wild,
Yeah, just like, I'm just man, why are you so much of a person?
because he is.
I respect it.
Yeah, January 15th, 2022 coming at you.
Yep. Got a few months to get ready for it.
Oh my lord. Can you get ready for it? Is that a thing you can be ready for?
No, you just gotta hope for the best.
It's definitely got that James Gunn humor, like,
Yeah.
automatically, if you watch that trailer and you just can feel the James Gunn radiating off of it from even just the music.
Yeah, and the first scene, I was already knew, I was like, "I'm in." When he was talking to the guy, he's like, "I'm a superhero." And Peacemaker, he's like, "There's no superhero named Peacemaker." Like, the
Hilarious.
obscure superhero joke. We love it.
Next up to a far less obscure superhero, The Flash.
Yes, it is actually happening, much to the disbelief of many people.
Mostly to the disbelief of Colin, who still doesn't
Yes.
believe it's happening, even though there's footage.
We would do a review of the movie, and Colin will not believe that we saw it. He'll
Probably.
be like, "Nah, it didn't happen." We're like, "Colin, we saw it." I'm like, "Nah,
Yeah, watch him have
I don't
watched
believe
it and still not believe that it happened.
it." But I'm happy that it is happening.
Yeah, we got a small sneak peek that was preceded by Ezra Miller giving us a lot of dry humor about there not being enough footage to give us a teaser
Of
or a
course.
trailer. It's not a very long sneak peek, but
No.
man, that suit though, that
It
new
looks dope.
suit.
I really like the suit with the yellow and the glowing on the comic bookness. It looks really dope.
Yeah, because I was not a fan of the Justice League suit, mostly because it was armor.
Oh, I hated that suit.
I was like, "He can't run in he's a runner. Why is he wearing something that like, is made to impede his running?"
Yeah, I didn't like it, like, from a narrative like, when they explained it, and I was like, "I get what you're doing," but it just I don't like the look of it. Doesn't feel right. I didn't care for it.
It felt like if you were like, your superpowers are that you are super fast, you would like, study what runners wear on a track and
Mhm.
try and make something similar to that, which is what this movie looks like. It looks like, yeah, could probably wear that on a track and it would probably work out pretty well. But yes, I love the lightning embedded into the suit, I guess you could say. They also changed his Speed Force color to yellow.
What was it before?
I think it was like white or blue or something like in Justice League.
Oh, right, yeah, it was like a white lightning kind of blue situation. Yeah, yellow
Yeah,
makes way more sense. I don't know why it wasn't like that before.
the suit is just so good.
It looks up. Who is standing behind him? Who's like not the other version of him? Obviously, there's another character standing behind him.
Supergirl.
That's Supergirl. Okay, cool, cool, cool. I was like, that's a super person. Got it.
our first look at Sasha Calle's Supergirl, as well as getting a look kind of a look at Keaton's Batman, The Return of Keaton.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, technically we did see the bat ears and such.
We saw the back of his cowl.
Mhm.
There's no
Which is
denying that it was his cowl.
like, "Oh, I know that one." But yeah, I look forward to that. Obviously, I see like they couldn't give us a whole lot, but
Yeah,
this is one of those things they've announced,
for
Batman's in it.
years.
So here's Batman.
Yeah, but also, like, they went through, like, 5 different directors, and, like, we've been waiting for, like,
Yeah.
6 years or something like that for, like, the Flash movie to finally actually happen. Yeah, and it's looking like it's inspired by Flashpoint, maybe not exactly Flashpoint.
I feel like more Flashpoint than not, given the whole, "You changed the past, you changed the future. You're gonna go back to save this person." Which is why I said earlier that it doesn't, even though I'm sure there's gonna be levity because of how they've done this character, it's gonna get
Yeah.
pretty dark because the whole thing about Flashpoint is, "Oh, no, my mom is dead, and I don't want her to be." So, we're gonna have to deal with his mom getting murdered.
Yeah, and there's some dark shots in there too. Like there's like I feel like there's a shot where he's reaching out for a hand and the hand isn't moving. There's the shot of him trying to help Supergirl who's lying unconscious on a table.
Mm,
The whole sneak peek, which really the cinematography is fantastic in it. I love the atmosphere that they've created. It's almost horror movie like, which makes sense because the director is Andy Muschietti.
right, right, right. He made it, and he did very well with it.
Like pulling up to Wayne Manor and like it's super foggy. Like there's like an ominous tone about this
Yeah.
sneak peek. And also I really love the music that they put on it. It's like it's got like this, for me it's giving like 80s feeling of wonder.
Okay.
Like I don't
I
know
can
how
see
to
that.
explain it, but there's something about it that feels like watching like one of those like really awesome 80s adventure movies. And also the day after FanDome, Muschietti confirmed that they had finished production. So
Oh, wow,
it's
really?
no longer in production, as it said on that
Nice.
teaser. Now it's in post-production.
Very nice, very nice.
2022, the year of the multiverse, no matter which
Honestly,
comic book
yeah,
movie you're going to.
I'm wondering if people are gonna get tired of the amount of multiverse content because we're getting it all so close together,
Oh,
and it's
yeah.
stuff that obviously has been in comics for decades, but a lot of people just go based on what they see in movies, because obviously not everybody reads comics, but we got Spider-Verse a few years ago, and then now we're getting basically live action Spider-Verse with, No Way Home this year, and then Spider-Verse 2 next year, and then The Flash. There's so much multiverse content.
Well, it's also Multiverse of Madness will be out next year as well.
Oh, snap, that for see, yeah, see? So much multiverse. But hey,
So
I'm here for it.
yeah, I know it's inevitable, but I really am not looking forward to the discourse around comparing Doctor Strange and The Flash and their introductions of the multiverse. Like, I'm not looking forward to it. It's gonna be like back when Batman versus Superman and Civil War came out in the same couple of months,
Yeah, the timing wasn't great because it was just ugh.
and now we're doing it again, but 6 months apart.
Yeah, it was definitely an interesting time, and, the more volatile fanboys from both sections are gonna have some stuff to say about the other section, and it's like, "Guys, just remember that comic books have been ripping each other off for, like,
Since they
decades."
existed.
Exactly, that's how a lot of your favorite characters came to be, is the company ripped off the other company, and I say this as someone whose favorite character is Deadpool, one of the most infamous ripoffs of all time.
But yeah, this looks exciting. I'm excited after years finally having like it's like Black Adam, like we were like, "Oh, finally there's like something to see. There's something to look at." And it
Yeah,
looks good.
I'm ready for it.
I'm excited to see how they're going to play with the multiverse in that movie cuz yeah, we saw two Flashes. We saw Keaton's Batman and we
Mhm,
saw a Supergirl. We don't even know which Supergirl. We saw a Supergirl. So,
right.
we don't know what universe she's from.
It's gonna be interesting.
I wonder if Reverse Flash is also going to be in this movie.
I feel like he has to be. I mean, he doesn't have to be if they change the story, but he did kill his mom.
Yeah, and we are clearly getting something of that in this movie,
Yeah,
I
it doesn't
think.
feel right to do Flashpoint and not have Reverse Flash in it, and also that's something I definitely wanna see in live action because they've done some really cool things with Reverse Flash and his visuals. I'm ready for it. He has, like, glowing red eyes a lot of the time. I wanna see that.
Yeah. Shout out to Michael Keaton for his narration on this sneak peek as well. I didn't realize it was him until like the second or third time that I watched it, and I was like, "Oh, that is Michael Keaton speaking. Wait a minute." I don't know, my brain just assumed that it was like Flash's dad talking. And I was like, wait, no, that's
Mm,
Michael Keaton. That's Batman talking to him.
as it should be.
And also, would not mind if somehow they got a Grant Gustin cameo in there. I know it might not happen, but Ezra showed up on his show, so I feel like it would be cool if Grant Gustin showed up in Ezra's movie.
I was talking to Jordan, and she saw something online that leads her to believe that is the case.
That
But
would be
you
dope.
know, online is full of speculation and rumors and blah 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 blah. But it would be super dope because Grant Gustin's awesome, and I think his show is the CW DC show that I stuck with the longest,
Hmm.
mostly off of his charm and everybody else. I liked Iris. I liked Cisco. They had a fun team on that show.
Speaking of Iris, shout out to whoever decided that Candace Patton should do all the news flashes on DC FanDome. Loved that because I love Candace Patton. Let's move on to our next topics. We're gonna kind of merge them together because they were both just panels, but we've got Blue Beetle and Batgirl, both of which are in pre-production right now.
Yes,
Blue Beetle's panel was with Angel Manuel Soto, Gareth Dunet Alcocer, and Jolo Merdueña.
Jolo is Blue Beetle, right?
He is. He's playing Jaime. And then Batgirl's panel is with Adil El Arbi, Bilal Falal, Christina Hodson, who is the writer of the movie, and Leslie Grace, who will be playing Batgirl. Yeah,
Yep.
these were just little panels, little
Yeah.
tiny interviews, I guess you could say, just talking about how excited they all are about making their respective movies.
Yeah, it wasn't like this panel. It didn't do a lot for me personally because it's movies I'm already excited for.
Yeah.
And not knowing anything new about the movie after the panel, it's like, well, I'm still excited. Like, it didn't
Yeah.
hurt, it didn't help. It was just, hey, I know you guys, you're involved with these movies I'm excited for. I did like the concept art.
Oh, the concept art was dope. Gareth talked about being very excited to include the spirit of Latin American people into the film. I really liked the comment that he made about how Spider-Man gets bitten by a spider and he, hides his secret from Aunt May, but
Mhm.
Jaime finds a scarab and like he comes from I believe a Mexican American family, so good luck
Yeah.
hiding that from your Mexican
Oh,
American
yeah.
family.
I remember that. I'm looking forward to seeing how that's gonna work, especially because just going off of Young Justice, that thing is very difficult to deal with. Like, it's permanently on his back the way it, like, talks to him, he talks to it, he looks disturbed because he's sitting there talking to himself, and people who don't know what the scarab is are like, "Yo, what's going on with your boy?"
It's gonna be wild. Jolo said that he's very excited about his suit and is confident that it will be the best superhero suit, calling out the rest of the DC universe on their on their suits.
Big talk, but the concept art looks super dope, and Blue Beetle does have a really dope suit, so if they get it right, he could be right about that.
Blue Beetle does have a really awesome suit, and yeah, the concept art. It reminds me of last year where we got the Flash concept art of what his suit was gonna look like. I hope that that's
Right.
like what the experience is gonna be like with Blue Beetle when we finally get to see the suit. It's like, oh yeah, that's really cool looking.
It looks so dope.
He seems very excited about getting to play Jaime, which I'm cool with. I'm super excited because I've read a couple of comics with Jaime in it, and I do really like the character. I am curious if they are going to go the route of Ted Cord being dead or if they're going to go the route of Ted Cord being his mentor. I think Cord being his mentor would be a lot more fun.
Yeah, I'd like to be able to at least see him before he dies,
Yeah.
but you never know what they're gonna do with it.
Yeah. And then we've got Batgirl. Again, not much to really reveal. They're in pre production. Leslie Gray said that she's training right now, obviously. They're in, I believe, England. I think they're planning to shoot in England.
Okay.
She described Babs, because that's what I call Barbara, Babs. She describes Babs as girly and badass. And she said she is also very excited to see her costume, which I am as well. And she said that the first thing that she asked the directors was if she was going to get to dye her hair red, if Barbara was going to have the red hair. And they said
Right.
yes. So
As they should.
for all you people complaining out there, Barbara will have red hair.
Yeah. That's a Batgirl trademark. I'm glad they're gonna do the redhead.
I do like that Christina Hodson, who is writing the movie, she also wrote, I believe she wrote the Flash movie, and she also wrote Birds of Prey and the Fantabulous Emancipation of One Harley Quinn. She said that this is Barbara discovering Batgirl for the first time and therefore kind of discovering another part of her personality, which will be really interesting. I think it's just interesting because we've gotten so many Batman films and we have an understanding of Batman to a degree that we're used to. But it's
Yeah.
fun getting to see somebody like Batgirl, who is kind of in Batman's shadow, getting to see her kind of form what it means for her to be Batgirl, especially because Batgirl didn't, I don't think she started out as a Batman sidekick.
Yeah, I think the story that I'm the most familiar with is that she was inspired by Batman, but not affiliated with him. So she
Yeah,
dressed up on her own, went out there, and then Batman and Robin came across her. And Robin is like, "Yo, who are you? What are you doing?" And she's like, "I'm doing me. I'm Batgirl. Mind your business, dick."
exactly.
And then they become a team. Gordon has no idea what's going on because what kind of detective is he? It's a whole thing.
He's a busy one. He's too busy to know
Very
that
busy.
his
Like, bro,
daughter
you don't
is out
notice your
there.
daughter's out here doing backflips out of windows?
No, absolutely not. From what we know, J.K. Simmons is coming back to play Commissioner Gordon, so that means that she would be Affleck's Batgirl, although who knows
Yes, I guess.
what'll happen after The Flash.
I don't know, it's too much to keep up with.
Rumor has it that there might be a Batman in the Batgirl movie, and
Hmm,
also, just a couple of days after DC FanDome happened, Jacob Scipio got cast in the movie. Who he's playing, we don't know, but he'll be in the
that's
film.
true,
I'm excited
that's
about
true.
that. He's reuniting with the Bad Boys for Life directors.
Yeah. Yeah, and we know they can direct him in some good action scenes. That sounds great. I can't even speculate on who he'd be, like, I don't
It was
know.
funny. I saw his
Yeah.
name pop up and I was like, "Dick Grayson?" Because that just obviously, I just think Barbara and Dick, but
Right.
obviously, I feel like DC probably wouldn't want Dick Grayson's first appearance to be in a Batgirl film on HBO Max. So
Probably not.
but I did see a couple of people, not a couple, more than a couple, suggesting that he could be Jim Gordon Jr., AKA her brother, which makes sense because they kinda look alike. They could
Hmm,
play siblings.
interesting. I didn't even think about that. That's not a character I ever really think about.
I don't think it's a character many people think about. I don't know if he's done anything particularly, like, important in the comics. If I'm wrong, please tell us in the comments, but I don't know Jim Gordon Jr. for doing anything, and maybe this movie will give him, an accomplice sort of role for her, somebody to help her do her Batgirl stuff, which might be kinda cool.
Yeah,
Also, the
we
concept
gonna
art,
see.
dope.
It did look really dope. I'm excited. I wish that, as always, I wish that we would stop boxing all of our people of color onto HBO Max. But
This is our regular reminder, HBO and WB, that you still have a chance to put these in theaters.
yes, we can headline theatrical releases too.
We
It's
deserve
not
to see
just
Blue Beetle and Batgirl on the big screen.
it's not just the whites and Jason Momoa who can do theatrical releases.
And The Rock.
True, but he's The Rock. He transcends everything.
That's very true.
If you don't put The Rock in the theatrical release, then what are you doing with your
That's actually very fair.
movie?
Speaking of Batman things, we are also getting a new animated series, Batman Caped Crusader, coming from producers J.J. Abrams, Matt Reeves, who is the director of the Batman, Bruce Timm, who created Batman the Animated Series. I think Bruce Timm said that he pitched it as Batman the Animated Series, but more Batman the Animated Series. Like
And
more Batman the Animated Series than Batman the Animated Series.
honestly, that is the best pitch I've ever heard because that is one of the best shows I've ever seen. Animated, live action, cartoon, kids show, adult show, just all qualifiers aside, it's just one of the best shows out there.
It is a staple.
Yeah, and my own personal biases aside, like it's widely considered one of the best superhero shows, one of the best iterations of Batman. There's so many people in our generation who consider Kevin Conroy like the Batman. Like Mark Hamill is the Joker. There's so many things to come out of Batman the Animated Series. Harley Quinn for one of and
Yep.
it's just like it shaped so much of Batman's culture. It's the reason why Mr. Freeze is a formidable villain and not a goofy dude making ice puns all the time. It's so funny. Like knowing nothing about this show, aside from who's involved, I'm already hyped. I'm already super here for it. Bruce Timm is back at it with the Batman animated series. Matt Reeves has been killing it with everything I've seen of his.
We'll get back to
And
that later.
obviously, we'll get to him later. JJ Abrams has made some super dope stuff. So
He's a
just,
really good producer.
yeah. So those two backing Bruce Timm on, more Batman the Animated Series. And it feels like now, given that it's on a streaming service, like we saw what happened when Young Justice went to a streaming service as opposed to Cartoon Network.
Yo,
yeah, it
Yeah.
opened up a lot. So
Well, yeah, and they mentioned that in their discussion about Caped Crusader. They did say that they get to explore more mature content than they did in the
yeah.
90s Batman the Animated Series. So we are gonna get, which is crazy because if you think about Batman the Animated Series, they did kind of push the limit, I guess you could say, for a kids show. So it'll be
Yeah,
interesting to see what they do with this one.
right. I've rewatched Batman the Animated Series a few times, and it always strikes me as a show that was not made for children, but made to be suitable for children. So it's like, we're
Yeah.
just gonna make a dope Batman show, and we're gonna try to not put a lot of things in that kids can't see. Having less, I guess, like, loosening the reins a bit, I am very excited to see where they're gonna go with it. I'm a
See if
little
it grew up
worried.
with you like Young Justice did, has done.
Exactly.
Oh my gosh,
Yes,
speaking of
it's
which,
still
the first 2 episodes of Young Justice, because they released the same day that DC FanDome happened.
that
Oh
was
my
so dope.
gosh, those first 2 episodes are so good. But anyway,
I
back to
can't wait
Batman
to
King
get to them.
Crusader.
Yeah, it just Bruce Timm has some weird tendencies. So,
We do not want Batman and Batgirl in this show, please.
yeah, I'm hoping we leave that out, but other than that, I'm ready. I'm ready for whatever Bruce Timm is gonna give us. I'm super hyped.
I will say I am curious though, because we did
Mm,
just mention Batman Batgirl. I am curious if Batgirl will even show up though, because they did say that these were gonna be early Batman years, similar to the way that the Batman is also early in Batman's career.
yeah.
So I am curious if she'll even show up because I don't think Batgirl, like, I don't know, who knows? Bruce Timm might play with timeline a little bit, but
Yeah, I would assume that she's not. It sounds like they wanna focus just on Bruce because it said there's, like, no Justice League or any other superheroes, it's just
yeah.
Batman in this show. So it sounds like, yeah, we're going right back to where we were with 1992, which, started the DC animated universe, which is one of my favorite things in the world. And I don't want to get my hopes up, but if somehow this started like a revamp of an animated universe, I would be the happiest boy in the world.
I mean, I've been wanting a revamp of the animated universe since I started watching Young Justice. Like, since that episode where it
Yeah.
was just the Justice League choosing who the next league member was, I was like, "I just want all of the animated shows in this universe that you can possibly give me."
Yeah, that stuff is so good. And that's part of the reason why I love their animation so much.
I'm excited. I used to watch, I feel like because, as kids, you don't really keep up with TV shows. You just kinda know what shows you like and you catch them when you
Yeah,
can. And I feel like
exactly.
Batman the Animated Series was one of those shows for me where it was like I watched it every so often, and I remember liking it as a kid. But now that I'm an adult, I am very excited to see what they're gonna do with Caped Crusader, especially now that I know a lot more about Batman than I definitely did as a child.
Right. Yeah.
And also, it just feels like we're really stepping into noir detective Batman super
Mhm.
hard in the coming years, and I'm very excited about that.
Yeah, and that's one of the best things about the original show, and I'm gonna try to stop talking about the original show 'cause that's not what we're here for, but just they showed all those aspects of Batman that we don't really get with a lot of live action movies. Like, he is a detective. We're gonna see him do some detective work because sometimes it's just they say, "Oh, yeah, he's the world's greatest detective. Watch him punch some people." And it's like, "Well, okay." But, yeah, I'm excited to get back to that.
Next up on our list, we have Shazam! Fury of the Gods. No, like, film footage. I think they've recently finished production, like, within the last couple of
Okay.
months, but we did get behind the scenes footage, like we
Yeah.
did with, like, Aquaman. And they're very clear that the family is getting used to being superheroes. I love that. Love that the whole
Yeah.
family's involved.
I do like the Shazam family. Is that what are they called?
I think they're called the Shazam family.
Okay, that works.
But yeah, it looks like we're getting bigger set pieces and action sequences. We got our first look at Helen Mirren and Lucy Liu as the villains. The wh-
Yes.
yeah, the whole thing looks bigger than the first one.
Yeah. Yeah. I love the first one. The first one, I think, as it's currently stands, is still my favorite DCEU movie.
I think it's top 3 for me.
Yeah, I know that DC movies are expanding and like, this one's in the DCEU and this one's not, and this is a multiverse movie and blah 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 blah. But as far as those movies are concerned, it is my favorite. And one way you can make me love it even more is to put Lucy Liu in it. It's funny because the first one has Mark Strong, and I love Mark Strong, but
Yep.
I don't think he was used to his full potential as an actor.
Hmm.
The character was just kind of like, look at me, I'm scary. You have Lucy Liu and Helen Mirren. You're not going to do that with both of them. You're at least going to let one, preferably both, of them do what they do.
I think it's gonna be interesting because it's very clear that this movie is also they showed us, like, some Greek mythological monsters that are gonna be in this film, and it
Mhm.
looks like they're really diving into, like, that Greek myth lore to tell these stories. I mean, Helen Mirren is playing Calypso. It feels like with this movie diving so deep into that type of lore, that those villains are gonna get a little bit more screen time, like, they'll probably fit in a little bit more thematically than Mark Strong's villain did.
Right.
Which will be interesting. Also, like, I'm interested if, David Sandberg is planning to give us that horror movie vibe again with these monsters like he did in the last one.
It's so funny and I guess it's more of a DC thing, but, like, the overlap of superhero movies to horror directors. No, not even just because
No, because
Doctor
Marvel
Strange
had it
too.
too.
Yeah, 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 yeah. But it's so interesting for me as someone who loves both. Like, we have James Wan, who is one of the best horror directors of our time. We have Andy Muschietti, who made It, which is amazing, and he's doing The Flash. David Sandberg, I think he made Lights Out, if I'm not mistaken, which is really dope. He's doing Shazam. And even in the first Shazam, he had people getting eaten and mauled by gargoyles in a business office.
Yeah,
So, yeah, just seeing all of these horror directors going in and out of superhero stuff, I'm here for it.
and then both directors of the Doctor Strange movies have also done horror at some point or another, so
I love
it's wild. But yeah, I loved the first one. Zachary Levi is an actor who I absolutely adore off the strength of Chuck alone.
it.
I loved Chuck so much, and from the ever since I saw that show, I was just like, "You're, like, one of my favorite actors," and from the moment he got cast as Shazam, I knew that he was gonna be a fantastic person to embody this character. Asher
Oh, yeah.
Angel is starting to look like a grown man. You guys only got a few more films left to pull out of this, so good luck.
Yeah, like, he can't be Billy Batson that much longer, like, he's gonna be an adult man.
Especially because Grace Fulton, who plays the older sister, she's now playing both versions of her character.
Yeah, that's so weird to me, like, you're not even changing.
I think they explained it that they have her playing both versions because now her character is an adult. She's not a kid anymore because she was going off to
Yeah.
college in the first
Right,
movie,
she
so
was
now she's
barely
an
a kid in
adult.
the first movie.
Yeah. So now she's an actual adult, so
She's
now
just
she is both
gonna get
halves.
superpowers.
Yep.
That's cool. That's so interesting. Yeah, like, you guys are running out of time, which is unfortunate because Shazam is a character that I really do enjoy,
Yeah.
but that's one of the things that in live action, you can only use the kid for so long, but it's a character that you need that kid counterpart to make the character work. So it's like, how long do we get Shazam?
How long are we gonna have Asher Angel play a teenager?
Right, Asher Angel looked like he was about 25 on FanDome, so I don't know how that's gonna work.
He looked like a kid in the first one. He's not gonna look like a kid in this next one. Him and Jack.
Yeah, it's funny. It's just like watching It Chapter 1 and then watching It Chapter 2. I was like, oh, okay. Y'all like barely made the cutoff for these kids being kids.
And I think it's only been 3 years since the last Shazam movie.
Has it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
20
Yeah, I think you're
2019?
right. Yeah, man.
They're growing fast. I need to start making, like, 1 a year for, like
Or find a reason to explain where Shazam is going.
before we move on, I just wanna say I'm super excited because y'all have heard me talk about her on this podcast before. Rachel Zegler is in this movie, and she is in the behind the scenes footage that they show. She even has a line in the behind the scenes footage, which I was, surprised
Nice.
about. Just super excited about her whole career. This is her 2nd movie. The first one hasn't even come out yet, which is
And that's
wild.
West Side Story, right?
Yep, West Side Story in December. You guys will
It's
hear about
so
that.
it's so crazy to come out the gate with 2 huge Warner
3.
Brother 3?
3. Well, because West Side Story is Fox.
That's Fox?
Yeah, that's Fox, so Disney.
Oh,
20th Century Fox, 20th Century Studios now, and
right.
then WB with Shazam, and then her 3rd one will be Snow White with Disney,
Oh, snap. Wow, that's what a way to start
just
your
out the
movies,
gate.
right? That's crazy. That's wow.
She got the role, for West Side Story while in high school, like, she was about to
Right, I
graduate,
remember yeah, I remember you telling us that.
but I'm super excited about her being in this movie. It looks like she's playing Jack Dylan Grazer's love interest, and there's probably a
Cool.
little bit more to that. But yeah, let's move on. Hey, Dallas,
Yes, to me.
what's black and blue and dead all over?
Ah, the Batman.
It is the Batman. Oh, man. I'm wearing the Batman shirt right now. I'm
Of
like
course.
I've had this shirt for a year. I bought it from last year's FanDome, as a matter of fact, when I
Oh,
thought I was
nice.
gonna be able to wear it for the movie a year later.
Yeah.
Yeah. Man, this podcast is about to get long. Let's talk about it, Dallas. Let's talk about The Batman, which we got a
Okay.
panel and we got a trailer.
Yes. How many times did you watch the trailer?
Oh, man, I've gotta be at, like, 10 or more at this point. Well, wait, hold on. Are we counting the number of times I've also watched it because I've been watching reaction videos to the trailer? Because I've watched so many of those as well.
I mean, I feel
So,
like I guess those should count if the trailer's playing,
it's definitely more than 10.
so it's a lot.
It's a lot. It is a lot.
That is to be expected.
I felt the same way about last year's teaser too.
That makes sense. Yeah, this is the most Demi tailored Batman thing ever. Like, you have Robert Pattinson, Zoe Kravitz.
I've never been this excited about a Batman movie, which is crazy because I was about 13 when Batman Begins came out and I saw it in theaters. And then I was
Right.
about 16 when The Dark Knight came out. And when The Dark Knight came out, that was a huge deal to me. And the same thing with Dark Knight
Mm,
Rises. Like I was super into those movies. So the fact that like the Batman is like another level of excitement is crazy to me.
yeah,
Especially because Batman's not even like my favorite DC character.
that's true.
I like Batman. I think Batman's cool. Everything about this movie, I'm just like, this sounds amazing. And it looks amazing as well.
Yeah. The trailer starts off, Paul Dano is just so
Chilling,
inherently creepy. Like,
vibing.
it's great casting. Also, that question mark that he makes in the coffee
Yeah.
was immaculate. I was like, "Yo, is this dude a barista?" Like, he got some skills. I was like, "Yo, that's not everyday artistry right there. This dude has been working on that."
It's amazing. There's so much packed into this trailer that I don't think we could possibly like get through all of it in a like timely manner.
Mm,
First off, it visually just looks stunning.
mhm.
Just the cinematography, the entire vibe. Like, shout out to Greg Fraser, who is the cinematographer on this movie. He also is doing the cinematography for the new Dune that is coming out this week.
Oh, nice.
And he did the cinematography for Rogue One. Just amazing. And oh boy, just the colors and the composition. And whew, I could get like technical about how good this cinematography looks. It
Yeah,
does. It just looks so
it
good.
looks so good. The one, because I'm watching this and I don't have the same tethers that you do to this particular Batman movie because I like Zoe Kravitz and I like Robert Pattinson, but they're not on my faves list like they are for you. So I'm watching it and
It's a reemergence of my love of Robert Pattinson.
true. And it looks and sounds like a Batman movie to me, which I'm about. It has the vibes that Batman usually has. But then there are certain things about it that kind of make it stand out for me. Like that shot of him walking down the tunnel when they're shooting at
Yes.
him and the bullets are flying off and you see the gun flare. I was like, ooh, okay. They got me. I was like, yeah. I was waiting for one particular shot to get me. And also, Penguin.
Yeah.
First thing, I refuse to believe that is Colin Farrell.
It's Richard Kind.
Right? Like that looks so much more like Richard Kind. But it can't be. It don't look like him. It don't sound like him. And the man is a great actor. We know
He
this to be
is.
true. But I'm like, that's not Colin Farrell, dog.
It is though.
I don't I don't believe you. Like I feel like Colin when you talk about the Flash movie. Like I don't believe you.
Yeah, he looks so good. The makeup, like they were like, yeah, we're coming for that Oscar this year.
Oh yeah, they're gonna get it. And the way he's acting, it doesn't have Penguin vibes. Like when Batman reaches for him and he's like, "Whoa, take it easy, sweetheart." I'm like, "Why are you talking like that?"
He's a mobster.
Yeah, but he's like, it feels like he's like Carmine Falcone or something like that.
Yeah, yeah,
Which
yeah.
I don't like Penguin. So if you want to change him, I'm all for it. Penguin gets on my nerves. So make him not get on my nerves.
I think it's interesting because yeah, these villains, and it was talked about in last year's DC FanDome, and you guys can hear us talk about that in our episode from last year. But they did really talk about how this isn't an origin story for Batman year two. So he's been Batman for a bit, but he's still
Mhm.
figuring it all out. But it is an origin story for some of his villains. It is an
Right.
origin story for Penguin. It is an origin story for Catwoman. It is an origin story for Riddler. So I think that's really interesting. And I think that it kind of shows in this trailer. I think that this trailer did a good job of giving focus to not only Batman and the rage and desperation that he's clearly feeling, but also giving us a look at Catwoman and Penguin and how they are going to also be very important to this film. And their development will also be very important to the mythos that we're about to see. One of the shots that I love is the Batman Catwoman on the rooftop
Yeah, that
shot.
looks dope.
Such a good shot, and it just feels like an iconic Batman, Catwoman, like, almost comic book moment. Something about this
Mm.
movie, like, visually feels very comic book-like.
Yeah.
Like, if they look like panels from a comic book in certain areas.
I think Batman is an interesting character because you can do that. Like, given the nature of the character and his stories, you can get the best of both worlds. You know, when you want to do recreate a Superman panel, you got to have him like flying through the air with the bright colors and the birds are flying and the bees are buzzing. But Batman's panels, they can look grounded. Like a dude standing on top of a building looks like you're recreating a Batman panel, but then also you can get the Christopher Nolan vibe if you want it to be more realistic and not look like a comic book. Sometimes Batman don't look that extravagant because it's just a dude in the dark beating up people.
Yeah. It's very interesting because I feel like this movie visually falls in line with it's got sort of like the grounded realism that Nolan did,
Mhm.
but it also has got kinda like the gothic, almost fantasy of Tim Burton's Batman, not that far, because
No.
Tim Burton went all the way in.
Right.
And it's got the noir thing that Matt Reeves has been talking about since he started making this movie, which goes with the whole detective thing. I'm so excited that this is like the first live action Batman film that we're gonna get where Batman is legitimately a detective. That shot of him standing in his own little clue or
Mhm.
hint thing was very, very cool. I loved that. I'm really excited about how they're gonna portray this character. Pattinson says that we're getting something radically different, that Batsy is, working out his rage, which you can definitely see.
Yeah,
Batman is
clearly.
brutal, and he says that the line between Bruce and Batman is very blurred in this movie, which it's not in other Batman movies. You know, there is a clear delineation between where Batman begins and where Bruce ends, and there is not
Batman
in this
Begins.
movie. Very nicely done.
Yes. But because it's always Batman is who he is and Bruce is who he the performance that he puts on for everybody else. So if he's losing that, it's a little
Or he
troublesome. Like,
hasn't
yo, can you
figured it out yet.
right, maybe that's it. Because he definitely like there are no scenes with Bruce Wayne in this movie that look like he's putting on the Playboy performance or he's, stunting and all that. He just looks sad all the time.
I think that's also why I really love the line that Zoe Kravitz has in the film where Catwoman is kind of feeling his mask and asks, "Who are you under there?" I think that's
Mm,
gonna be a very important part of the movie is who is Bruce Wayne underneath that
yeah.
mask? Who is Batman? And answering those 2 questions. Zoe says that there's gonna be an exploration of the gray in this movie. Batman and Catwoman bond over their desire to help others who can't help themselves, and that she very much wanted Selena to be a human in this movie and not so much an idea, which is nice. I appreciate that about my women in films.
So I remember I heard that and I couldn't help but think about Jared Leto's Joker when he said something like, "I am not someone who is loved, I'm an idea," or something like that.
Yeah.
And I was like, she had to say not an idea because now I'm just thinking about that goofy nigga. But
Oh,
yeah,
man.
it was funny to me.
I loved Matt Reeves's, his metaphor for what Batman is in this movie, that he's a reckless rock star in a decaying manner. I don't know, it's just very
Interesting.
like, it brings up, like, a visual in your head, and you're like, "Yeah, yeah, that works."
Yeah, I could see it. That it's funny because that leans into all of the My Chemical Romance jokes. Like, yeah, he looks like a reckless rock star. He's on his Welcome to the Black Parade.
Speaking of rock stars in general, I love the fact that these trailers continue to use "Something in the Way" by Nirvana.
Mm,
I love the fact that they keep using that song, and then also
yeah,
the usage of the Batman theme for this movie. Michael Giacchino on his stuff this movie.
he always is. That dude be killing it. Shout out to Mike G.
Yeah, this might be some of the best stuff I've heard from him, though.
Ooh, he's done some good stuff.
He's done some good stuff, but this might be some of the best.
I'm looking forward to hearing it in the movie too.
I'm looking forward to seeing what the track list names are.
Oh yeah, he always goes in.
They've gotta be good ones. It's gotta be good track names. Yeah, man, whew. I don't I like there's like I said, there's so much to talk about in this one trailer. I love the red and black color palette that they've been doing for it,
That
for
was cool.
marketing and everything. There's even that fight scene where he's beating the crap out of some people in a club and it's just red lights strobing in the background. Like, that
Hmm.
was really cool looking.
Yeah, that's very Batman vibes. It reminds me of the scene. Is it? I want to say it's Dark Knight when he goes to get. I can't remember the dude's name, but he's played by Eric Roberts. and he's like
Mm.
fighting his way through the club, and you can just hear the music. And then that girl leans over to Eric Roberts' character and is like, "Can we go somewhere quiet? We can't hear each other talk." And he says, "What makes you think I want to hear you talk?" And then Batman shows up and then just grabs him like while the music is still blaring. I was kind of getting vibes like that, and I'm ready for it.
This Batman suit, super nice.
hmm Like
Super dope.
he's taking all kind of bullets and just walking through like he's Luke Cage. I love it.
And then also, like, when he's, like, tasing that guy's neck.
Yeah, that was interesting. You got you got taser gloves in there.
Yo, the gadgets, man, the gadgets.
Use Batman. Gotta have the gadgets.
And the Batmobile.
Yeah, always good to see what they're gonna do with the Batmobile. I wasn't a huge fan of Chris Nolan's, but I got over it over the course of 3 movies. I do wanna talk about the noir vibes that we talked about with Matt Reeves, like the detective thing,
Yeah,
like you said, when he's standing in there, he's, like, looking over all the stuff. Just the way that they're depicting Riddler as this, serial killer.
Zodiac.
Yeah, not like a goofy, like, "Ha ha ha, Batman." He's not Jim Carrey's Riddler. Like, he's a killer. I'm happy about the vibes I'm getting from that because it gives me, like, Mindhunter vibes,
Yeah.
and freaking Derek Fincher refuses
David.
to give me Mindhunter.
You gonna call him
And
by the wrong name, you so mad?
what did I call him?
Derek Fincher, I think you
Derek?
said?
You know what? He doesn't deserve to be called by the right name because he still won't make Mindhunter season 3. So, Derek, Daniel, Duran, Fincher, whatever your name is, make Mindhunter season 3 or I'm gonna fight you. That's
Oh my
not
gosh.
relevant right now. But anyway, back to
Ah,
Batman. It looks dope. I'm happy for it.
I'm super excited. I'm so happy that it's gonna be March, which means it's not too far away. It's
It's in
supposed to come
March.
out this month. Yeah, March 4th, 2022.
I'm with it.
Also, super excited about the chemistry between Catwoman and Batman because I am a Batcat fan.
A lot of people are.
Yeah, so when I saw Batman Returns for the first time, I was like, "Oh my gosh, this chemistry is amazing. If I can just get that with Robert and Zoe, I will be so happy." And it looks like that's what I'm getting. Watching them on the rooftop, every single time they have a scene together in the trailer, I'm just like, "Oof." Actually, one of my favorite shots is kind of a smaller moment, I guess you could say, but it's
Mhm.
Batman beating the living hell out of somebody, and then it cuts to Selina's reaction, and she looks absolutely horrified. I love that
Mm.
sequence of
I didn't even
shots,
pick
and
up on that. I didn't watch the trailer 10 plus times like you did.
I noticed that the first time I watched it, I was like, "Ooh, she is terrified right now."
One of the shots that I noticed, and it's even more minor because it's just like they're showing a few shots of her, but it's the one that it's that picture that you posted before
Yeah, yeah,
fandom, like she's in the white. And I saw the picture and I was like, "Oh yeah, she looks good." But like seeing that shot in motion, like the way
yeah.
she's like chewing the gum and like moving her eyes, I'm like, "Oh, okay." I
Oh,
see.
okay. I'm so excited, dude. Like, you remember 2 weeks before she was cast, I was like, "Yo, just cast Zoe Kravitz in the movie on this podcast."
Because they're looking for a Zoe Kravitz type, which is so funny because I imagine, like, given how close the casting was, he had to be trying to get Zoe Kravitz. So why even say I'm looking for a Zoe Kravitz type? Why not just call Zoe Kravitz and be like, "Hey, you want to be in Batman?"
I don't know if he said it or if, like, sources found out he was looking for a Zoe Kravitz type, and that's just what they said, but, no matter the point, she got cast, and I'm super excited, man. I'm so happy that this is what happened, especially after you remember, I think she auditioned for Catwoman in Nolan's Batman movies, and it was said that she was, too urban?
Oh, I heard about that. That's never something you want to hear anyone say. Oh, they're too urban.
We have come full circle, people.
Yes, as
Man.
we like to do.
I feel like there's so much more that I could say about this trailer, but we probably shouldn't. Matt Reeves is a great director, so I fully trust
hmm
him. I'm a little nervous with how excited I am about this movie because, like, my expectations are so high, and if it doesn't meet them, it'll just be so disappointing.
Yeah,
I don't know. There's something about this trailer where I watch it and, like, you can see that Matt Reeves has a very specific vision for how this movie is supposed to be, and all of those things seem to be coming together. So as long as the script is as strong as I hope it is, this could potentially be A, my favorite Batman movie ever, and B, possibly the best Batman movie ever.
which that's going to be a tall order because of how great The Dark Knight is.
It is.
But, it also depends on who you're talking to.
It does. There are people who still think that 89 and 90s Batman are the best Batman movies. So
Right. And then there are people who somehow think that Batman and Robin is good. So, everything
one of
is
those
in the
people
eye
is
of the
on our
beholder.
podcast.
Yeah.
Not either of us, for you guys to know at
Of
home.
course not. Come on, guys.
I
What we
talked
look like.
about that on a quarantine watch, like, last year. Yeah, this is exciting. It feels like DC has definitely found its stride.
Mhm.
Like, there have been movies from DC that I've been excited for in recent years that I thought were good, but now it feels like they've found, like a consistent like, you know how the MCU, in my opinion, is very consistent with what it puts out quality-wise, and I think that DC is finding its stride in that
We will see. I'm glad
next
that
year.
they're just trying a little bit of everything, what it feels like, and I'm happy for it.
Yeah, that's what I wanted.
Yeah,
I wanted DC to try a little bit of everything. I didn't want them to get too stuck in the everything has to be dark.
right. It's like not everything needs to be Man of Steel, not everything needs to be Shazam, not everything needs to be Birds of Prey. You can do a little bit of everything. So I'm happy we're getting The Flash, and we're gonna get Blue Beetle and Batgirl. We're gonna get Static. We're gonna get a little bit of everything for everybody. That's what I want.
We're getting Black Canary.
Oh yeah, they didn't even talk about that.
They didn't, but they probably don't have anything to talk about, so
That's fair.
to be fair, like, Blue Beetle and Batgirl are, like, about to go into production. I don't think Black Canary is anywhere near that, so
Yeah, they got their hands full right now. We can wait for the next fandom.
no, seriously, I'm so excited about the Batman, man. I've never been so hyped for a Batman movie. I keep rewatching and the funny thing is so you asked me how many times I've seen that trailer,
Mhm.
not including the ones I watched for reaction videos and the DC FanDome one. I have only watched the 4K version that Matt Reeves put out
Mm.
because compression on YouTube is trash. So
Ah,
it's not just because it's a 4K version. It's also like, you know, the compression like doesn't cause any quality loss on Vimeo as badly. So
okay. That I was wondering why that link was Vimeo in our Google Doc.
because it deserves to be seen in
I
4K
was like,
without all the compression.
why is this one a Vimeo link with the rest of YouTube? But that makes
This is
sense.
what it's gonna look like in a theater. Uh,
Okay, I got you. I was like, Vimeo. All right,
also, that's the one that Matt Reeves posted, so I just posted the link that he posted.
that makes sense.
Yeah,
Shout out to
so
Vimeo.
that's the one that I've been watching nonstop. That's the one I watched before we actually started recording because, man, it looks so good. It's so crisp, it's so clear. Oh, you know what? The final shot of Batman coming out of the car and walking,
Mm.
somebody pointed out that he's upside down like a bat, and I was like, "Oh my god."
Ah, it's cute.
I was like, "Ah, guys, this movie is gonna be so good." But yeah, thank you guys for listening. That's all we've got for you guys today about DC FanDome. Did you guys watch it? Let us know what you guys are excited about for upcoming DC movies. What'd you guys think of the Batman trailer?
Yeah, there's so much to talk about. So interact, give us some comments and some tweets and such. But as always, thank you. First and foremost, thank you to Crown Digital, Brandon and Io. You put us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Demi, thank you for editing, putting us on YouTube and nerding out with me because
Somebody has to.
Colin's podcast didn't want to. Yeah,
And
we
Gabby
we
wasn't
are the
here.
most. I have no idea who you're talking about because we are the most. We are the most fitting to do this episode. So
I'm starting to think we should have named our podcast Nerd Alert.
it does fit. It does fit us. But yeah, audience, like Demi said, what y'all think of DC FanDome. Tell us what you're most excited about. Let us know if you think that Blue Beetle and Batgirl are too urban for a theatrical release.
Dear God. And possibly Static.
Oh, definitely static. But yeah,
WB, you still have a chance.
you still have a chance. We're not too urban, We can put us on the screen, the big screen.
Guys, just know that regularly we will be asking WB to put these movies on the big screen.
Oh yeah. So get used to that. It's not gonna stop. But yeah, hit us up on Twitter, y'all_different, Instagram and Tumblr at Creative Differences Podcast or Facebook.com/Creative Differences PC. If you want to bond with me specifically over all this nerd stuff, especially Batman Cape Crusader, because man, I'm hyped. You can find me on Twitter or Instagram at the King Name Symbol.
If you guys want to talk to me about the Batman trailer on like a technical level or on a fangirl level, you guys can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Dreamy Films. Dreamy is spelled DREEMI. Thanks again for joining us.
Yes, and if you want to find Colin and yell at him for not being in this episode, you can find him on Twitter at HalfBlackAdam. All right, it's been different. Bye.
Bye. You don't have one for Gabby?
Who?
I feel like that has to be the tag.